Mom. Hi, babe. Whoa.
The bridge was built in 1889. And right after that, word spread around Vancouver that he built a suspension bridge across the Capilano Canyon, and it actually became very popular for Vancouverites to come and visit. And it wasn't so easy to go from downtown to North Vancouver as it is today, back in 1889. In fact, you had to take a ferry across the Burrard Inlet to the bottom of the Capilano River, and then from there you had to hike upriver to the Capilano Suspension Bridge. But in order to get on the ferry, you had to wear your Sunday's best, like the best clothing you had. So a suit, a top hat for the men, a big huge hat perched on the women's head, and a huge skirt for the women. So it wasn't exactly the best hiking attire for once you got to the mouth of the river when you had to hike upriver. So it was very common for women to hike into the woods, take off their skirts, and hike up to the Capilano Suspension Bridge in their bloomers, earning them the title the Capilano Tramps. So Edward decided that he was going to butter her up a little bit more, and he ordered in hundreds of exotic flowers and made a beautiful flower garden for her to take care of. And one day while she was gardening happily away here at the Capilano Suspension Bridge, Edward asked her one more time if he could marry Lillette, and finally she said yes. So that's a picture of Lillette and Edward right there with their son Brian and their dog of the same name. Follow me this way, we'll talk a little bit more about our next later. Nonetheless, the two were actually eventually married, and that's a picture of them there. The funny thing is, though, Elizabeth was 30 years older than She's a kind of a do as I say, not as I do kind of woman. They actually say this is the first cougar sighting here in Capilano. In 1953, a local small business owner by the name of Ray Mitchell purchased the park. Ray actually purchased the park for $95,000 and put an additional $25,000 in rebuilding the bridge. In order to do so, though, he had to remortgage his house. So he took a big risk when purchasing the park, but he actually continued to own it for 30 years until he sold it to his very own daughter by the name of Nancy Stibber. He purchased the park in 1983, and Nancy's still our current owner today, and she's brought many new attractions to the park. On the west side of the canyon, a big house, and that's what the First Nations people on the west coast actually lived in. These giant structures made out of red cedar tree. This is a much smaller version. The actual size was able to fit between 5 and 20 families who could live comfortably there together. In front of the big house, we have a story pole, and this story pole is actually called a house pole, and that's because it tells a little bit about the family who lived. Liberty in the middle of the river, you'd be eye to eye with the Statue of Liberty, and just in case you were wondering, the bridge can hold 96 African elephants, which weighs about 250,000 pounds. In people terms, if we filled the bridge up with people and packed them together like sardines, we then have to stack them 7 high in order to reach the weight-bearing capacity. So it's a very, very strong bridge. We have nothing to be concerned about. Anyways, my name is Neil. Oh my goodness, oh my dang it. Gotta go.
Where's Annika? There she is.
Oh my goodness! Oh yeah!
Mama told me, son, always be good boy. Don't ever play with guns, but I shot a man in the street just to watch him die. That's terrible. Nasty. When I said that was the goal, I had my head and cried. Here we go, guys. Fancy dining car, they're probably drinking coffee and smoking music on. I know I have it coming, I know I can't wait. But those people keep moving, and that's a core to the beat. Where I want to stay. And I said there goes the whistle. No, my blues away.
Guys ready? Okay, finish. Here we go.
Alright, we are gonna race for it, family. You guys will be great. It's fine, alright, let me go be on the stage and I hope everybody have a great day.
Ha ha ha!